Governor Newsom is trying to pressure counties to quickly start using a law that makes it easier to put severely mentally ill people in psychiatric holds.
Now, Newsom publicly scolded counties that are delaying their use of the law, including Sacramento County. KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala joins us to explain what's going on.
Yeah, this all centers around a brand new law called SB 43 that technically goes into effect in a couple of weeks. It makes it easier for counties to force people not only into mental health treatment, but also addiction treatment. This is a piece of the state's broader plan to address the homelessness crisis in California. Now, in a virtual press conference today, the governor blasted counties that are choosing to delay the use of this new law until next year or 2025 or the year after 2026. And they are allowed to do this under the new law. The majority of California counties are actually opting to wait as they get organized and figure out how this will work for their unique conditions. Sacramento County's Board of Supervisors this week voted unanimously to delay until next year. Even though the governor agreed to give counties the option to wait, he signed off on this law. He says the state cannot afford it.
We need to see a sense of urgency. We cannot wait till 2026. Can't wait till 2025 on the conservatorship reform. People literally will lose their lives, and people are losing confidence and trust in government that can deliver on the promises that we promote. People don't want to hear about how much money we're spending anymore. They want to know that we're actually producing results.
We think this law is a very important tool in our toolbox to be able to engage folks who historically we've had a more challenging time getting into treatment and services. And so we really are taking this seriously, because when we talk about a conservatorship, what we're really talking about is taking away someone's rights. And so we really have to balance the due process and folks' rights to liberty with their need to have treatment and to be able to really engage them in a way that they can get healthy and they can get housed.
So 56 of California's 58 counties are deciding to delay. The challenging part here for them is that they've never had to conserve people with addiction, and it's up to counties, not the state, to develop their own systems. This law passed 3 months ago, and counties say all of this is, of course, going to take time. Otherwise, in the words of the Sacramento County Board of Supervisors, these people will end up in jail or in the hospital and overwhelm those two separate systems.
Which are already having their own issues separately. That's a whole other thing. Now, obviously, this law change and other changes to address homelessness are going to cost money. How's the state projected to pay for that when we're in a budget shortfall?
Right, and I asked Governor Gavin Newsom this today in that virtual press conference. These plans were proposed either during or on the heels of really good budget years in California. The governor says these programs won't be impacted, but it is something that counties are concerned about, and we will, of course, have much more on that piece of the discussion coming up. But yeah, this is, again, just another chapter in the state pointing the finger at the county slightly pointing the finger at the state in this dealing with the state's homelessness crisis.
Not to mention, is there even the facilities if you were to house these people on psychiatric holds?
And those are in the works. So it's a lot.
And we've spent how much? $20 billion over the last?
$20 billion over the last 6 years.
And then
what do we have to show for it?
Well, homelessness is up 12% in the country, and how much? 6% in California.
In California, according to the report you guys read right before we came.
And we're still waiting to hear about the Sacramento County point in time count to see how those numbers are.
Stay tuned.
All right, Ashley, thank you.